Resurrection of the dead. Human bomb. 600 billion exploding tags. In the world of Naruto, there are several incredible ninjutsu that go beyond our imagination. In this video, let's examine the most despicable ninjutsu in the Naruto series. Edo Tensei. First up, when thinking of despicable ninjutsu, 99% of people will probably think of Edo Tensei. It's a despicable technique of the second Hokage. The developer is the beloved Senju Tobirama, the second Hokage. Orochimaru completed the technique, which was still unfinished. Many ninjutsu depicted in Naruto involve summoning techniques. And Edo Tensei is actually one of them. Well, it's about summoning the souls of the dead. However, this technique is considered despicable because it is a forbidden technique that can resurrect the dead, summon them to the world of the living, and manipulate them as the user wishes. The second Tsuchikage calls it the despicable technique of the second Hokage because of the terrifying power of this ability. The main users in the story are Orochimaru and Yakushi Kabuto. The resurrection conditions require a certain amount of personal information, DNA, from the person you want to resurrect and a living person as a sacrifice to hold the soul of the deceased. Both components are necessary for this technique to succeed. Isn't it too easy to fulfill the conditions for a forbidden technique? By embedding a tag in the resurrected person's head, they can be made to obey the user's commands. The resurrected individuals retain their abilities from when they were alive. Furthermore, they possess an invincible body, being immortal since they were once dead, and their chakra never runs out. It seems like if Gai-sensei, who opened all 8 inner gates, was resurrected with the Edo Tensei, he would be unbeatable. I want to believe that this is something that can't actually be done. Another terrifying aspect of this technique is that even if the user dies, the resurrected person does not disappear. The only way to undo this technique is for the user themselves to perform the release seal with the signs rat, ox, monkey, tiger, dragon, boar. At this point, it seems like a despicable ninjutsu with no weaknesses. But there are indeed drawbacks. Perhaps even Kishimoto-sensei thought this was going too far? That is, if one knows the release seal, they can cancel the summoning contract from the side of the reanimated deceased. If the deceased side cancels the contract, it means that a person with an immortal body will be unleashed, causing havoc. While this is a drawback for the user who performed the Edo Tensei, it is the worst-case scenario for those around them. Orochimaru and Kabuto used this technique to resurrect the dead and have them fight as pawns. But according to the second Hokage who devised the technique, this usage is nonsense. There are mainly 2 original intended uses. Kill an enemy ninja, resurrect them, bind their ego, and make them reveal information. Implant explosive tags and send them back to the enemy lines to self-destruct. With this, it seems like you could easily destroy other villages using low-ranking ninja. I think that it's not the ninjutsu that's despicable, but rather the person using it. Mutually reinforcing explosive tags. Next, let's introduce the mutually reinforcing explosive tags. This is another technique created by the second Hokage, Tobirama Senju, to be combined with the Edo Tensei. While the effect of a normal explosive tag ends once it's detonated, the mutually reinforcing explosive tags can continually summon more tags, resulting in perpetual explosions. As a result, it can cause widespread explosions over a long period, which is quite despicable. How does this person come up with such underhanded uses so easily? However, this is a desperate technique, where the user is caught in the large-scale explosion they create. So, can it only be used once? Tobirama, as expected, thoughtfully devised a way to use the technique. This technique not only has a despicable aspect, but it also compensates for the shortcomings of the Edo Tensei. The drawback of the Edo Tensei is that if the precision of the technique isn't increased, its strength isn't fully realized, but increasing precision raises the risk of rebellion. However, by incorporating mutual explosion tags into the resurrected body, the technique's accuracy doesn't need to be increased and explosive power can be expected. Additionally, they can be made to explode at any time, eliminating the possibility of rebellion. As a side note, there's a scene where Tobirama uses his Edo Tensei body to perform the mutual explosion tags. The line, "It's my first time doing this with my own body," strangely sticks in my head. If he says with my own body, that must mean he tried it with someone else's reanimated body while he was alive. Izanagi. Next up is Izanagi. Izanagi is an ocular jutsu passed down in the Uchiha clan and is considered a forbidden technique. In the series, it is used by Shimura Danzo, Tobi, and Uchiha Madara. Izanagi is too convenient. I want to use it too. This technique casts a genjutsu on the user themselves, connecting illusion and reality. Then, they treat the unfavorable events that occurred to them as if they were never replaced by dreams. On the other hand, it is an extremely powerful illusion that can actualize anything advantageous. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that you can become invincible while the technique is active. However, one of the characteristics of this technique is that the risk is very high due to its immense power. There is a predetermined time limit for each eyeball when using this technique. And once that time is used up, the Sharingan used loses its light and becomes blind. So that's why Danzo was a Sharingan collector. In addition to blindness, there are other risks. One of them is that the user of Izanagi becomes arrogant, leading to an uncontrolled rampage. In the case of multiple Izanagi users, a situation where only convenient realities for oneself would occur arises. In other words, a struggle to seize control of reality ensues. It's hard to imagine a struggle for reality, isn't it? To stop this technique, another forbidden jutsu called Izanami has been created. Moreover, to activate Izanagi, both Yin and Yang chakra are required. Yin chakra can turn an inconvenient reality into an illusion, and Yang chakra can make a favorable illusion into reality. However, since the Uchiha clan possesses only Yin chakra, there are hardly any individuals who can activate the complete Izanagi. Danzo was able to use the complete Izanagi because he had integrated Hashirama's cells. Also, Obito should be able to use the perfect Izanagi, since he has Hashirama's cells by incorporating Zetsu. I wonder how the past users of Izanagi obtained the power of the Senju clan. Izanami. Next up is Izanami. This is one of the ocular techniques created to stop Izanagi, and is also considered a forbidden technique like Izanagi. The Uchiha clan used Izanami to restrain those who would become intoxicated with the power of the powerful technique Izanagi. Therefore, despite being a powerful technique, its effects do not manifest for anyone other than the user of Izanagi. Wait, but Kabuto was trapped in an infinite loop by Izanami, right? What's the deal with that? It means that Izanami has other effects, but it doesn't have the effect of stopping the rampage caused by Izanagi. Izanami is a technique that drags the target into an infinite loop of an illusory world. By memorizing the sensations of one's own body and the opponent's body through ocular power, and deliberately repeating the same actions, an infinite loop is made possible. This technique, like Izanagi, also causes blindness after a single use. By the way, how can Izanami be released? If you can accept reality, it is possible to escape from the infinite loop. Those who read the explanation of Izanami in real time back then probably had to read it multiple times to understand it. Shurji Hyoketsu, death controlling possessed blood. The last slightly malicious technique I will introduce is Shurji Hyoketsu. This technique was created by the Jashin religion and is used by Haydn. This technique links the user's body to the target's body by absorbing the target's blood into their body and entering a special formation. The effect of the technique allows both the user and the target to receive the same attack that the user sustains, while it is possible to inflict a fatal wound on the opponent. Doing so would also result in the death of the user. However, since Haydn is immortal, he can effectively utilize this technique. This technique is only effective when the user is inside the formation, and its effects persist no matter how far the target tries to escape. When the user moves away from the formation, the effect disappears. But the link is re-established when the user returns to the formation. It's difficult to use this technique in solo combat. It feels more like a support-oriented technique, since the activation condition for the technique is simply obtaining A small amount of the target's blood, Haiden favored a scythe with 3 blades, which had a wide range of attack. Asuma Sarutobi faced this immortal opponent with brass knuckles. It might have been a bit short-sighted to engage in close combat with an unfamiliar opponent right away. I think a strategy of collecting the opponent's blood and then using a spacetime ninjutsu, like Kamui, to escape and activate the technique from a distance could be possible. It would have been terrifying if Haiden could use the flying Raijin Jutsu. Conclusion. So, in this video, we introduced some particularly malicious ninjutsu featured in Naruto. Which ninjutsu do you like the most? Of course, it's Edo Tensei, right? If you like Edo Tensei, please give a thumbs up, and if you like the mutual explosion tags, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.